Chapter 6 Season 1 Hunters. With this season coming to an end, I thought it was time to step back and look at this season. Now, this is going to be broken down into 6 different parts, and the parts will be as follows: the map, battle pass, loot pool, story, events, and finally all the different game modes. I'll be going into detail on each different element of the season and just giving my opinions on each. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The map is by far the best map we've had in a long time. I mean, any map with bird on it will do that to you. Coney's kind of cool, I guess, as well. I think it's the best Season 1 map we've ever had at the very least. Now, I know lots of people have been talking about how much they love Chapter 5 Season 1's map, but for God's sake, you really think this is better than this? I mean, come on, when was the last time we had a POI like Night Shift Forest? Every POI in this map is so enriched in colour and detail, it blows everything from Chapter 5 straight out of the water. However, that's not to say every POI is different from one another. Without looking at some of the names attached to each different POI, I can't tell them apart. Fleet of Frogs and Lost Lake feel the exact same. Magic feels like a half-assed Wailing Woods, and what the fuck is a Whiffy and Twinkle? And it's such a shame that this corner of the map feels so bland and boring because the rest of the map feels so lively and different from each other. Regardless, I still believe that this map and its 17 POIs are the best map we've ever had by a long shot. Just stay away from the top left if you can. It was okay, I guess. One of the most mixed battle passes we've had in a while. The standouts have to be Shadowblade Hope and the Night Rose. I know some people will hate me for this, but this motherfucker is infinitely better than all of these combined. The design is so good, and a second cell with Tactical Night Rose is beyond what I hoped for in this battle pass. It really impressed me, and other skins like Jade and Kendo, while still being good and quality designs, they really don't stand out like the others. Then there is Nyanja and Baymax. Yeah, moving on. Daigo is just kind of boring as well. I mean, yeah, he's an interesting character, but his design is so goddamn boring. He's just a guy in a mask, for God's sake. But my god, Epic cooked with the superstars for once. For the first time in a long time, all the superstars for these skins are actually good, and they gave it to the skins that actually deserve it. And all the skins that don't deserve them have been left by Epic to rot in their base styles. Thanks, Epic! I'll talk about a lack of balance. This season introduced several new types of weapons and even brought back some old favourites. Now, for the sake of convenience, I'll be showing the stats of all these weapons in the epic rarity, because, well, that's the only rarity that every weapon is in. There was a strong variety of ARs this season, that being the Ranger, the Fury and the Hollow Twister. The Ranger and the Fury are both good ARs in their own way, with the Fury being fast firing and less accurate, while the Ranger being slow firing and high accuracies at long ranges. But let's be honest, is there any competition when the Hollow Twister is here? Despite being a tad overpowered at the start of the season, after its nerf it turned out to be a really quality weapon with great balance. Regardless of my opinions on the Hollow Twister though, it's not always my favourite weapon type of this season, and that goes to the SMGs. The two SMGs are the Surgefire SMG and the Veiled Precision SMG. The Surgefire is like your basic SMG, but as you keep firing it, it gets a faster fire rate and more accurate as it goes. This gives it a unique mechanic as you have to time your shots accordingly to the weapon accuracy and fire rate. However, like most SMGs, the Surgefire is really only good in close to mid-range fights due to the weapon's recoil and somewhat shoddy accuracy. However, this is where my favourite weapon of the season comes in, the Veiled Precision SMG, arguably my favourite weapon of all time. This guy is so insanely accurate, you practically don't even need an AR. You can practically beam people from over 100 meters without an issue using an SMG. The tight spread and minimal recoil makes this weapon a killer in the right hands. This is forever going to be my favourite weapon of the season, but I'm very curious to see if it will be topped. Too bad all the shotguns are shit. There was 3 different shotguns this season. There was the Sentinel Pump, the Oni Shotgun, and the Twin Fire Auto Shotgun. The Sentinel was like your basic standard pump, slow firing and big time damage. The Oni was more like a semi-auto, not dealing as much damage but quick fire rate. And then finally the Twin Fire, which was quick firing and didn't do a lot of damage each hit. Good balanced lineup of shotguns, don't get me wrong. So, why am I saying they were all useless? That doesn't make sense, right? Well, let's just say that close range fights were kind of unmatched. Shotguns have been somewhat useless this season, especially when all close-range fights are obliterated by a group of samurai. The Typhoon Blade has become infamous for its unfair use and spammy gameplay. It seems 9 out of 10 times I get killed, it's always the Typhoon Blade. It's either killing me or someone on my fucking team. I've had full squads soloed by masters of spamming buttons and calling themselves good. It's fucking unreal. You're not going to be the next gen Peterbot by third-partying gunfights from behind using a sword. I could maybe excuse it if it was a situation like the Oni masks, where they became more balanced over the season and more fair. Now that's not to say that the Typhoon Blade wasn't nerfed, because it was, with its damage being taken from 30 to 28. Really? Is that seriously all you're going to give it? A little nerf just like that for the whole season? It has been appalling all this time, and Epic hasn't seemed to do a damn thing about it. Like, why? I don't even understand! Anyways, let's just move on before this goes on for another who knows how long. Snipers really are the weapon you either love or hate, and as someone who loves them, it's safe to say I'm not the biggest fan of the selection in Season 1. First off, we have the revamped hunting rifle, and wow, look at that! Epic disappoints yet again. Such a shame that bullet drop snipers have become the new standard. I wouldn't mind it as much if the drop was reasonable, but fucking hell, only 100 meters before drop? And for a sniper, that's appalling. It's a shame as well, because now it doesn't even do as much damage as it used to. Headshots used to be from 96 to 100, but now it's only 84 to 88. Epic changing this means that one-shot headshotting with a hunting rifle is no longer a thing. So thanks Epic for killing off another great weapon, really appreciate that one. And then there is the railgun, which has suffered the same fate. Well, kind of. Oh yes, there isn't a bullet drop, that's because, well, there is no fucking bullet. It's a laser, of course, but now we have less range, which can somewhat lead to a similar effect. But don't get me wrong, in those medium range fights, this thing is just as good as it's always been, and that ain't changing anytime soon. Now, I would talk about the explosive repeat rifle, but I'm pretty sure that's just the same as it's always been, with no changes. It's a pretty basic weapon, all things considered. Oh, and one last thing, I'm never going to talk about this ever again, so I thought I'll just include it here. The pistols are fine. The story! Wait, there was one? Yeah, there was story! Holy shit! Now, it's not like the story we had this season was bad, because it wasn't really that awful, to be fair. But that doesn't disregard it as some of the most basic and boring story we've had in a very long time. It's pretty much just, oh, Hope wants to know about the island. Jade helps her collect demon essence to learn about the demons. Oh, but the big bad demons say no, 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 so they take her. But apparently her brothers took her or something, and he's like, no, no, no. So they use the power of family ship to save her or some shit. And he saved her from the fucking demon realm using the shards from the 0 point, which he fused with masks. Also, Kendo's involved for some reason. I don't even know why. Kendo's a useless character and he's just a massive dick. Kendo just seems like he's here for the sake of being the big, older, wise brother who's thought, oh, this is gonna go bad. But no, he's just some fucking annoying piece of shit. He's related to Jade and fucking Daigo, and that's pretty much it. Nothing special. The only thing he remotely did that was cool is have him and Hope discover the fucking artifact that crashed down at the start of the season, turn out to be a shard from the 0 point, which, let's be honest, we all kind of knew what that was going to be. Also, real quick, where the fuck has Jones been this entire time? He just kind of vanished at the start of the season and Kendo replaced him just to be a shittier character. Like, seriously, Jones could have spent 2 seconds looking at that artifact and knew exactly what the fuck it was. We didn't need to get over 7 weeks into the season just to fucking hear that. Like, yeah, we already knew. Which is another issue I have. Why the fuck were all the story quests so far spread out across the whole season? Like, why on earth did it take 5 weeks to get each individual set of fucking story? Like, really? What was the need? But yeah, hopefully we're going to see how the story develops here on out, and hopefully we'll get that in the event. Speaking of the event... Fuck off, Mariah! Sorry, I just had to get off my chest for a minute. Alright, so, events. Winterfest rolled around at the start of the season, and that really impressed me this time. For the first time in 2 years, the rewards this time were actually quite good. Too bad it gave away one of the most hated skins of the entire season. Yes, I'm looking at you, Santa Dog. The cabin this time has finally made its grand return, and the original skin that we got was actually quite good, being Yule Jacket. Too bad the music is still shit.
It's that time of year again.
Shut the fuck up! And of course there was the mini event that took place on the 15th, which really impressed me more than I thought it would. I mean, the choreography between Shogun X and Daigo was really more than we've ever seen before. And now, if you look at where the event took place, you'll see all of the gold coming up from the ground, which we all know what that's for. Perfectly here to lead us into Season 2. Epic have released a strong handful of different game modes throughout the season in a similar way they released them at the start of Chapter 5. And this time, all of them have released to a, well, somewhat decent amount of success. Except for Ballistic, there's fuck all players on that. I'm taking the piss, it's not even just Ballistic, fucking Brick Life has nothing either. Well, never mind, I stand corrected. In other words, they all died straight away, other than this beauty. Being realistic, I do not need to sing OG's praises any more than I already have, especially considering the fact of how many fucking videos I've made on it, but my point still stands as it being the best game mode that Epic have released this entire chapter so far. Too bad no one gives a shit about Ranked OG, especially Ranked OG Zero Build. I mean, what the fuck are these numbers? It's disappointing to see the turnout that all of these new modes have had. I mean, in the time since it came out, Ballistic has had a singular update where it's updated and added one weapon. Thank God, but that's literally it. Really sad to see. I mean, the revamp of Brick Life was kind of cool, and just like Fortnite in general, but, who fucking plays this thing? I mean, does anyone here really know someone who plays Brick Life? Like, let's be honest. And so guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this season. It's been a somewhat mixed bag, but what's been good shows really strong promise. I want to say a special thanks for watching the video and supporting me throughout this whole season. Thank you very much for watching my 11 minutes of rambling, and I will see you all in Season 2.